Well, we go to the movies, and to quote The Rock, finally, it's here.
What?
Supergirl the movie, starring Australian actress Miley Alcock in the title role.
We don't give a fuck.
That will put the MCU and DC universes to shame. No.
You serious?
The movie's gonna bomb, it's gonna tank, and you can thank Molly for that.
That's fucked up, man.
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this, well, when you call out the patriarchy,
Hold up.
sexism,
Wait a minute.
and yes, she could be a little queer.
Stop it! Please!
Those are all recipes for success.
Let's declare it a summer of pride.
But it's what's next. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages? I am your humble host, Jasper Gonzo. This is another episode of What's Next for you. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Thursday, of course. As always, another daily dose. Finally, to quote The Rock, it's here. The movie we've been waiting for ages. We've been salivating for, we've been just, oh my gosh, praying that this movie finally came. And yes, it is here. Supergirl, the movie. Yes, with starring Miley Alcock, Australian actress, of course, Game of Thrones. It's here, and it's going to be the blockbuster everybody's been waiting for, and will make everybody forget about the DC and MCU universes, right? Well, ask Brie Larson about that. And here we go. This, coming out of Breitbart. Far Left Variety calls Supergirl a super horrendous comic book movie. Worst script I can remember. Ouch. And that's Miley Alcock there, and insert joke. Anyway, even the left-wing Hollywood press is turning against Warner Brothers' new superhero summer tentpole, Supergirl, calling the film super horrendous and the worst script ever created by man. The review by Variety's Owen Gleiberman was quite negative ahead of the film's worldwide debut coming up on Friday. The Hollywood Newser ripped the film as pretentious for its punk rock attitude that is cringe. Gleiberman dismissed the film, writing, "Here's the key to know about Supergirl. The second outing from James Gunn DC Studios. The entire movie thinks it's punk rock, and that, Gleiberman says, is cringe." Quote, "The film introduces us to Kara Zor-El, Miley Alcock's role, who rather than being the spunky Supergirl legend, saving earthly lives from in a primary colored spandex suit, is an interplanetary drunk in a blonde t-shirt, how punk rock, bopping from one era dystopia to the next." Yikes. Glimmerman added that the main baddie of the film, a creme of the Yellow Hills. Creme of the Yellow Hills? Let's go with creme brulee. I like that. What do you think? Nah, probably not. Matthias Schoenaerts, who is the actor, is an overly derivative Mad Max reject. We're told that Krem, the human trafficker who leads a group of space pirates known as the Brigands, possesses the strength of 10,000 men, but we'd be happier if he had the magnetism of just one. As to Supergirl herself, Gleiberman says, the character was written so one-note that it's hard to have much investment into what she's up to. Then he turned his attention to the script and insisted that the movie has no story. He then went on to deliver a spoiler-heavy description of the underlying motives of the characters, none of which are deep, all that logical, or interesting. Yeah, no plot revealed here. Quote, "Those are the motivations driving the entire not even interesting enough to be convoluted plot of Supergirl. Maybe that's why the movie is full of action, yet numbingly flat." Gleiberman then ripped the DC Studios guiding hand James Gunn for his pretensions, having the perfect script for Supergirl, yet still giving the world this film. James Gunn, along with Peter Safran, knew that he was launching the DC Studios right into the teeth of superhero fatigue. Gunn got asked a lot about what is he going to do to avoid that. He said the key issue was, we're not going to do any production until the movie that we have for the script is rock solid. For that, there was an overriding problem with the superhero overkill era. The films had lousy scripts, which were used as grinds to which they layered the visual effects. Gunn was right to take the comic book genre back to the well-structured screen-written basics. So what has he done in his second DC outing? He's given us a comic book movie with the worst script I can remember. The reviewer also slammed the GCI-dominated aliens in the film as making us feel trapped in a Muppet movie. Damn. Supergirl, he said, was warming up to his conclusion. Plods along, poised between sodden spectacle and snark. He ends ripping the film's director, Craig Gillespie, who made the arresting I, Tanya, and fabulous Cruella. Okay. He writes, but adds, "I was shocked to see the Gillespie, who could churn out a piece of a product in a generic in its action and its attitudes. What happened to his barbed humanistic wit? Maybe Gillespie, who's Australian, convinced himself that Mad Max light trappings of Supergirl makes this a subversion of the genre." It's also desperate to be punk rock, but Supergirl is punk crock, Gleiberman bitterly concluded. The film has taken a major hit already. It hasn't even opened yet. The latest financials seem to show that it will be a box office disaster, Fox News reported, and that it will only make an anemic $39 million in its opening weekend out of the $250 million budget. Yeah, that's not good at all.
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions, I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all, if anything. But we'll see. I don't know. It should probably go both ways.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
My thoughts. Yikes. Yikes. And yikes. The fact of the matter is that instead of learning lessons, let's take a trip in the way back. Let's go way, way, way back to 2019. 2019, we were coming off the greatest Marvel era movie in history, and DC as well. So we had Black Panther come out in the spring of that year. Then we had the real Captain Marvel come out the same year for DC. And then we had Endgame. Yes, the piece de resistance, of the Thanos arc. And it was absolutely magnificent. Not as good as Infinity War, but, came close. But between those two movies was Captain Marvel. Yes, Brie Larson's, epic movie. I mean, it did 1.1 billion. So, but the normies, those were the normies. Those are the ones who didn't care, those who didn't invest into the DC universe, knowing that this movie was just shoved in there, shoehorned in there, when you could have really avoided the whole thing because you already saw Infinity War and you were just waiting for Endgame. So we had that. But before that, Brie Larson, the lead actress, didn't do herself any favors. She critiqued white movie critics. She slammed white movie critics for, trashing Oprah's movie, Something in Time or whatever it was. And she used her soapbox as a political arena to rip anyone and everyone, because of the patriarchy. And how did that work out? What was the last thing that you saw Brie Larson in since Captain Marvel? Yes, we saw her in the Marvels. She was supposed to be the lead in that movie, and she got relegated to coming off the bench. Damn. So you would think that 7 years later that James Gunn would learn from this to say, hey, okay, Molly, here's what I need you to do. I need you to shut your mouth. That's all I need you to do. Talk about the movie. Talk about how excited you are to be in the movie. You can't wait for the movie to appear. You felt that the script was written great. That wearing the Supergirl, wearing the S on your chest, felt empowering. Use those words, empowering. Womanly. I feel great about the movie. No. She slammed Christian dads. She slammed. Yes, she called out, oh, well, you know what? This movie's about the patriarchy. How dare you critique me? When you crack on dads, then you decide to, well, is Supergirl queer? And of course, she's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe she may be a little queer. It is Pride Month after all. So, why not? No, absolutely not. You kept on shoving your feet down your throat, shoving both legs down your throat because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. So now, when it was predicted between 55 and 85 million, that's still a decent wide gap. Now we're all the way down to 35 to 39 million opening weekend. Yeah, Miley, you got no one to blame but yourself. But on top of it, we've heard that the script is trash and felt rushed. And people are going, this is a movie that no one asked for. I think what you should have done is called Brie Larson and said, hey, how can I avoid all the disasters, just like your movies? She might have given you some sage advice. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace.